Okay, this is Algebra 2 Solving Equations Review. I'm just going to go over a few problems. I'm not going to go into it in too much detail because you should have already covered this in Algebra 1 and we've done some of this in class. One thing that I want to point out to you is that you're always going to use inverse operations, which means you're always going to do the opposite of whatever's happening. So if something's being multiplied, in order to get rid of it, you're going to divide it. Okay, so make sure that you keep that in mind. Another thing that I want to make sure that you do is that you're working your way from the outside into the variable. So when you're looking at an equation and you're solving it, you want to work from whatever's furthest out from the variable in. So get rid of whatever's further out and then work your way in. That way you're making sure that you're getting rid of stuff in the right order. And I'll kind of show you how that works as we go through here. So in our first example, we have negative 47x is equal to 2,726. So we don't have anything over here except for this negative 47 coefficient in front of this x. So the operation that's happening here is that's negative 47 times x. So in order to get rid of that coefficient, you're going to do the opposite of multiplication, which is divide. So you're going to divide both sides by negative 47. Okay, one thing that I want to make sure that you guys are doing is you're working your way down and not to the side. So for those of you who struggle with this, please, please, please make sure that you draw your line down the middle and make sure that what you do to one side, you do to the other, and you keep your stuff lined up. So negative 47 divided by negative 47 is positive 1x equal to, and then 2,726 divided by negative 47 is negative 58. Sorry if this thing's moving. Okay. So on this side, this is equal to negative 58. 1x is just x, so we have x equal to negative 58, and that's your answer right there. Okay. Second example over here, we have 26 minus k. So if we're working our way from the outside in, I'm working our way this way and this way to make sure that we get our variable by itself. There's nothing over here that we really need to worry about. Our variable's on this side, so we're going to make sure that we work on that side first. Outside of this variable, we have a positive 26 and a minus sign right here. So we're going to make sure that we get rid of those first. Now you always want to make sure that you know that there's more than one way to solve a problem. So you can move the k or you can move the 26. It really doesn't matter which way you work in. I'm going to move that 26. This is a positive 26, so in order to get rid of it, I'm going to subtract it. So what you do to one side, you do to the other. If you need to draw your line, you can. This negative k is going to come down. Now, a big mistake that you guys make is that you'll see this negative here, and you'll think this is negative, and you'll try to add 26. That's not how it works. You want to make sure that you use the sign that's in front of whatever it is that you're dealing with. So 115 minus 26 is 89, equal to 26 minus 26 is 0, minus k. Another mistake that you guys will make is that you'll subtract this here and you'll think it's like 115 minus negative 26, and you'll plug it into your calculator and it'll add those two. Don't do that, okay? You only ever want one sign down here on the bottom. Don't ever use more than one sign when you're working with these. All right, so here you have 89 is equal to negative k, and we're still not done. We have this negative here. So it's like saying you have a negative 1 times k. So this is multiplication. You divide both sides by a negative 1. Negative 1 divided by negative 1 is positive 1k. 89 divided by negative 1 is negative 89. So you're left with k is equal to negative 89 as your answer. I have a few more examples. Same thing here. We're working our way from the outside into the k. All right, so if you have a constant over here by itself, just leave it alone and work on the side that has the variable on it. So we're working on this side over here. So if we work our way from the outside in, outside of the variable, is this 10 that we have to get rid of. This is a positive 10, so subtract it on each side. This is just going to come down here. So you're left with k over 4. 10 minus 10 is 0. 7 minus 10 is negative 3. And I'm just rewriting it so you can kind of keep track of what's going on here. In order to get rid of this, you can multiply both sides by 4 or cross multiply that up there. Okay, so multiply 4 here and here so that you're left with 4 over 4 is 1. So you're left with k is equal to negative 12. That's all we're doing here. As you get a little more advanced, you want to make sure that you combine your like terms and distribute. So we're working our way from the outside in. Your first step is always to simplify. So make sure that you remember to simplify first. Okay, so when you simplify, you're going to have to distribute whatever you have on the outside. Make sure that you distribute it to both terms before you start combining. So 7 times 1 is 7. Positive 7 times negative 3 is negative 21x. And then this 3 is going to come down. Plus 3 is equal to negative 38 plus 3x. Big mistake here is you guys will forget to distribute this 7 to this 3, and you'll also forget that negative. You'll forget to bring it down and you'll put plus, or, you know, if this was a negative 7 and you were distributing it, you would forget to, you know, change your sign. So you always want to watch for your signs. The next thing you want to do is combine like terms. There's nothing I can combine on this side, but here I can add that 7 and that 3. I'm just going to rewrite it so you see what I'm doing. So 7 plus 3 minus 21x is equal to negative 38 plus 3x. And I don't expect you guys to do all this rewriting. This is just so you can see what I'm doing. 7 plus 3 is 10 minus 21x is equal to negative 38 plus 3x. So here you want to make sure that you get your variables on the left and then constants on the right. Okay, so you want to move stuff over. I'm going to leave this here, this x, and I'm going to move that 10. So this is a positive 10, so I'm going to subtract it. That's going to come down. This 10, I have to combine it with this negative 38. I cannot combine it here with this x because it's not like terms. So make sure that you're only combining your like terms. 10 minus 10 is 0. Minus 21x is equal to negative 48 plus 3x. Negative 21x equals negative 48 plus 3x. Now I'm going to move this 3x to the other side. That's going to come down. Negative 21 minus 3 is negative 24x minus 48 plus 0. Okay, so here you can just divide both sides by negative 24. So that you get x is equal to positive 2. Excuse me. Positive 2 there. Make sure you guys are catching your double negatives. I have one more example. Here you're distributing on both sides, so make sure that you distribute correctly. Here we have a negative, so you're going to have to distribute that all the way through. 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times positive 5 is positive 30p. Oh, man. Okay. Negative 5 times negative 12, you want to make sure that you multiply those negatives together, which is going to give you a positive. So we have positive 60 minus negative 5 times positive 6 is a negative 30p. Oh, this is going to give you infinite solutions. Okay, so same thing. You want to make sure you get your variables on the left and your constants on the right. So I'm going to get rid of this 60. on each side. That comes down. 60 minus 60 is 0, plus 30p is equal to 60 minus 60 is 0, minus 30p. So I'm going to move that over to the other side. Let me rewrite it. So I have 30p is equal to negative 30p. I'm going to move this over because we want the